everybody, welcome to the second episodes of Curlers and Crime. This is my lovely friend Hope here.
Hello.
Hope, you want to tell them about yourself?
Well, Paige and I met in hair school in 2017.
Old.
Yes, so I do hair too, but just men's hair at Sport Clips. So.
Yay. She's really, really great with men's cuts. Yes. Do you listen to a lot of true crime or research it like I do, like a psycho?
No.
Do you listen to any podcasts or watch any TV shows? Or just Cassidy just show them to you?
Ones?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, today we are going to be talking about the Lulu Lemon Murder.
Ooh.
I know, right? We're getting up on the holiday season, lots of shopping. So I wanted to do something kind of, I don't know, I didn't want to make it super Thanksgiving or Black Friday themed, but I kind of wanted it to go along with that.
Yes.
And I do remember hearing about this, but I haven't heard about it really since. It happened in 2015. And it's in, we're going to try to say it again. And guys, I have my notes here again. It's just what it is. I tried to think about it I'm not going to be perfect. I know people that do podcasts, they're reading off a script anyway, so bear with me. I just want to make sure I have all the right information. But this is, how did we say it? Bethesda, Maryland. And this is about the Lulu Lemon murder of Jana Murray. So I'm going to go ahead and get Miss Hope's color mixed up. We're going to touch up her roots. We're going to go a little bit ashier. We're going to cover some of these bright pieces around her face. She's wanting to go darker for the winter. And then we're going to brighten up all of her blonde. And we're going to learn about some spooky shit. All right?
Woohoo!
All right. And as always, I have my coffee. So I'm drinking a peppermint mocha. Hope has water today. I've been drinking this for 6 hours now.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I went ahead and I mixed up Hope's color. We're gonna do a just a level 5 neutral on her roots, and I might bring a few down if we are feeling saucy, but we're definitely gonna cover up these front pieces, and then we're going to definitely make her a little bit ashier. She also was my winner for a scalp cleanser and deep conditioner, so she's gonna be able to sit and have her deep conditioner on and everything and listen to more of the story. So like I said again, I'm gonna have this right here, reading off of it, and I already put it up front, but trigger warning, this does include murder, talk of sexual assault, blood in the photos, just gruesome, horrible things. So if you are not okay with that, I ask you to please just click out of this and come back for the next one next month, because I have a fun one already ready for next month. So. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, Jana Murray was working at Lulu Lemon in Bethesda, Maryland, with her coworker Brittany Norwood. So they were working their normal shift. Jana, was a manager at the time, and before they ended each day, they had to check each other's bags. Which I'm like, okay, that's actually a good idea. But
yeah.
I mean, I would never, ever try to steal anything.
Especially if you have a discount working there.
Okay, yeah. And we know here, hello, Lulu Lemon is not cheap. Halara is the new thing, right?
Yes.
Not sponsored, but if you want to, it's fine. It's expensive, and so whatever. So I'm gonna pick a picture up of Miss Jana. So basically, I'm not gonna bury the lead. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it right up front for you. Brittany Norwood murdered Miss Jana after one of their shifts, and this was on March 5th of 2015. So I totally realized that I did the wrong date because I was looking at the date of one of my sources for this story, and I do catch myself later, but I wanted to interject earlier into the story just so you don't get confused. This happened in 2011 on March 11th, and then it'll make sense later. So it is not 5th on the 15th, it's the March 11th in 2011. So sorry for the confusion, and back to the scheduled programming. At the end of their shift, they had to check each other's bags. They had to, Jana then had to lock up and leave the store. She was one of the managers. And Miss Brittany did have a pair of leggings in her bag. And like I said, I mean, they're a hot commodity, as we know.
Yeah.
But still not cool, can't do that. So later, maybe 5 to 6 minutes later, Brittany called Jana and said that she forgot her wallet inside. Now, after this happened, this goes down a huge spiral of this complete just, I wrote down this great word, elaborate story that Brittany ends up telling the police that is completely not true. And what actually happened is completely horrifying. So again, like I said, if you're getting nervous with me talking about this, we'll just skip on to the next one. So, she lured her back in. Jana was 30 years old at the time, and she was a graduate student at Johns Hopkins, which smarty pants.
Yeah.
And she was, she gotten accepted there for, oh, hold on, I do have it here. A Master of Business degree, but she wanted to work at Lulu Lemon because she wanted to meet more athletic people. And I was like, that is the sweetest thing ever.
Fun.
Because, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, in my early 20s, like, I went to the gym to find boys, right? Like, I didn't go to work out, but she just sounds like such a wholesome, sweet person. She sounded so smart. Everyone seemed to just, like, absolutely love her.
Yes.
So anyway, she got the job, and she quickly moved up to becoming a manager. And I misspoke. It was March 11th. I said March 5th because I think that's later. So on March 11th, the two of them were working their shift, and this was at the Bethesda. Oh my gosh, I can't say it. Bethesda. I cannot say it. I keep.
I'll just keep saying it.
There, in my mind, there needs to be an N in there. Where it's from. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So anyway, I keep wanting to put an N in there. But is the Bethesda Row Shopping Center.
You got it.
There it is. Gosh. I don't know what my deal is with that word. I listened to Google say it like 6 or 7 times and I just can't. So Hope's gonna help me with that.
I got you.
So at the end of the shift, they had to check each other's bags, like I said, and that's Lululemon's policy.
Right.
If anybody on here still works there, I would love to know if that's still the policy, because I think that's great. I used to work at a JCPenney. Did you ever work retail?
No, thankfully.
Right. You don't know retail until you work retail.
Yeah, which I believe, and I have sympathy for you guys.
But we both worked at Longhorn though, so we do know about and
customer service. Yes.
Oh goodness. So anyway, Jana, she did find a pair of leggings in Brittany's belongings, and instead of confronting her right then and there, their policy was to just call and tell someone that was in charge.
Okay.
So she didn't confront her. She didn't make a big stink about it. She didn't freak out or anything. She just noticed it, went to her car, and then called the manager. Okay, I went ahead and did this side off camera just so you can still see my beautiful face while I'm talking. And we're gonna go ahead and do the back. So Jana and Brittany, they ended up leaving the store around 9:45. They closed at 9, so good for them. They got out of there pretty quickly. They checked each other's bags. Jana locked the door. They went on their merry way. Well, Brittany then called Jana and said, I left my wallet inside. Can you let me back in? So, not thinking anything of it, this is her coworker, she goes and lets her back in, and this was at 10:05. Oh, so, and she said she left her wallet inside, etc., etc. So moments after that, so right after 10:05, the neighboring store, which was Apple, said that they heard a bunch of commotion next door, and they heard a woman say, "Don't do this." So,
oh, wow.
If there's anything, just side note, that I've learned from obsessing over true crime, again, I'm not a weirdo, I just find it very interesting, is that I know now it's always, I would rather err on the side of caution and always call 911 if I feel like something's wrong, because if you wait too long, you could save someone's life.
Oh yeah.
In this case, potentially not, but We'll get to something. She could have been caught a lot sooner. So anyway, they heard her say, don't do this. What's going on? And then they heard about 10 minutes of shouting and grunting. So to me, that doesn't sound like funny or like sexual or like anything like that. That sounds like probably not a good idea. But the Apple employees, when they talked to the police, said that they just assumed it was drama. And you know, like I said, it's like, okay, well, let's assume that, but
still assuming
10 minutes of that, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
And just drama. I mean, then again, you have to put yourself in their shoes, and you're like, do they see these people every single day working next door outside? Like, do they like go out their lunch breaks, smoke breaks? Are they always arguing? You know, like, we don't know exactly where their brains were at, but as I've done research and stuff, I just, you know, I'm always going to err on the side of caution personally. So the next morning, the manager, her name was Rachel Ortelli, walked into Lululemon and discovered like the most absolutely gruesome scene that you could ever envision. And I'm going to show Hope some photos, and when I'm showing her, you'll see her face, and then I'm going to pop it up for you on the screen. So she called 911, and she said there's 2 people in the back of the store. One person seems dead, the other one is breathing. So I'm going to go ahead and show Miss Hope this photo really quick, and I'm going to pop it up for you. Okay, so the first photo I'm going to show Hope here is the woman that was breathing, which is Brittany Norwood.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So she's not passed. She's still alive and breathing, right? And then we have, here it is.
Holy shit.
Okay, so it took me a second. Sorry, that cut weird, but it took me a second to find it. So I showed Hope a few photos, and I am popping them up for you now. So
that's insane.
This is obviously after the bodies were removed.
Right.
Notice all of the footprints.
Yeah.
And take into account how much blood there is, obviously. And then I went ahead and showed her the second photo that I'm popping up on the screen for you all now, which is just kind of around the corner, which is the opposite way because we saw that table, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's what we're walking into, folks. That's pretty freaking disgusting and wild. So we just saw those photos. The one of, obviously we're not showing Jana, and that's not public record, but we did see Brittany laying down, and they did discover Jana laying face down in a pool of her own blood. So in those photos, we did see how much freaking blood there was. That was so much. So if you're queasy, I apologize, but that's the nitty gritty of this story. So Brittany was bound and like very shaken, but she was bound by zip ties in the bathroom, which I showed you that photo of herself. And they basically were like, she was shaken, and they were like, hey, tell us what happened, like what happened from the night before. And that's what started her very, very twisted tale of the Lulu Lemon Murder, is what we know it as now. Is your stomach okay?
Oh yeah. I'm good.
Okay, good. I know some people get like super queasy. I don't. I think it depends.
I was gonna say it depends, because like I feel like if they would have had a picture of the other girl, maybe like in her own
but knowing
but
she was alive was,
that picture wasn't as gruesome.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover up these bright blonde pieces around her face because she's just not feeling the bright fantasy anymore. So
going to the dark side.
I know. Okay, so now we're going to go to the dark side, and we're gonna talk about everything that Brittany put in her tale. So Brittany says to police that her and Jana entered back into Lululemon And she did give the same exact rough estimate of time. They left at 9:45. She called her about her wallet, and they re-entered around 10:05. So that was all the same. She said that 2 masked men slipped in behind them, and the men, and this is a trigger warning again, she says that they both raped Jana and then killing her, and then tying up Brittany while calling her racial slurs, and was apparently letting her live because she was more fun to have sex with. So this is the story that she is telling police, and this is all according to the Washington Post right here that I just said that. And they initially treated her as a victim because when you're walking into this, of course it looks like she's a victim. Yeah. She's tied up, she's bound, she's the only other person in there, right? And so then began this like huge manhunt of these men and asking local stores and customers if anyone had purchased ski masks that night or recently prior to that. And they even followed a man that matched Brittany Norwood's description of the killers. And so I'm going to pause right there. We're going to go ahead, get this side covered, and I'm going to clean my hands, and then we'll get back in. All right, before we let Hope sit here and process, like I said, we did 5N. I did a little bit of a base melt, covered up these blonde pieces. I am going to throw a few, just like 1 or 2 low lights throughout here just to match kind of the dark piece. I'm not going to go over any of the blonde, but I'm going to go over some of the dark, and then we'll put a lovely little lunch lady processing cap on her.
Yay.
I know. They're so cute.
Keep
I love them.
out of the food.
Exactly. And that's what I dig. Okay, I love my lunch ladies.
Oh, I know. Me too. My grandma was a lunch lady, and I dressed up as a lunch lady 7th grade for Halloween.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Did you wear like her outfit?
She sent like aprons and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so cute.
Except I made it funny. I got one of those like moles you can like stick on your face. Had hair sticking out of it. It was funny.
That is too funny. Sorry, I forgot my fulls, everyone.
Okay. Let me correct myself. That was 4th or 5th grade. I wasn't trick-or-treating in middle school.
Some people do.
I know.
I walked around, I remember one year, and people were mad about it. But nowadays, I'm like, hey, I'd rather
They could be doing so much reckless stuff.
I would rather them be trick-or-treating and give a teenager candy than them be out, like, driving drunk or, like,
egging houses, causing a ruckus.
Doing anything. Trying to hurt a dog or, I don't know, like, there's so many worse things that could happen than giving him a damn piece of candy.
Seriously.
So, anyway, so, after Brittany, she was treated as a victim, of course, we said, because again, she was bound up. We all saw the photo. I'll pop it up one more time of exactly how she looked in this moment. So there was a detective, Dimitri Ruvin, and he questioned Brittany like several times, which good on him. You should. That's what you should be doing. And I know I can't imagine. I've never had to be in a situation like this. I'm sure it's very hard for people that are victims, but I'm sure in the long run, they probably see it as a good thing. I would hope. If I'm wrong on that, totally correct me, but I think that in the long run, you would see it as a good thing, I would hope. So anyway, he is starting to get really suspicious because he's sitting here just like saying, okay, so these 2 masked men that she's talking about are rapists, racists, robbers, and murderers. All at the same time. You know, like how terrible. He was even quoted saying like, this is the worst human that you could ever possibly describe, right?
Yeah.
And that is his exact quote. Worst possible human you could describe, right? So each time the police spoke to Brittany, they noticed inconsistencies with her stories, which again is why I think it's so important that you continue to talk to people, because I mean, yeah, there's trauma, but like
Yeah.
you're gonna end up catching that person if you keep asking them. So, oh my gosh, and I totally said 2015. This is 2011.
Oh wow.
So this was further back than I thought. This article that I got some of my information from was 2015, and that's where I got messed up. So I would have been in 11th grade when this happened. So you would have been in 10th, right?
Yes.
Okay. So still not that long ago.
No.
Just right. So they kept talking to her. You know, she told police that she had never been in Jana's car before. But when they looked in Jana's car, they found blood on the vehicle's door handle, gear shift, steering wheel.
Oh.
So on March 18th, 2011, Brittany was arrested for the murder, and then they start unraveling the truth of what happened on the 11th. So that was only 7 days, so a week. But she went a whole week telling this story over and over again. So I'm going to go ahead and put this last one over here on this side, put her processing cap on, and then we'll get into the trial. Okay, so we got this on Hope, and I'm quickly going to put this Color Wow Dream Filter. I told you all that she won my scalp cleanser and deep conditioner, but I also love this for all of my clients. The only reason not all of my clients get it is because you do have to shampoo it out of the hair before you put color on it. But what this does is it gets all those minerals out of your hair, helps like keep like a really nice even like tone. Since we're going to retone her hair, I just want to make sure we get all of like any type of mineral or like product buildup out of her hair. So if you ever want Dream Filter added to your appointment, just go ahead and let me know ahead of time so I can block off some extra time. So anyway, I'm putting this in Hopi Joe's hair because I just want a nice, beautiful palette, or is that what I'm talking? Canvas of hair to tone. So we started talking when the camera was off, and I was like, wait, we got to talk about this on the camera. So she asked me, was it Brittany's blood or was it Jana's blood that they found? Well, it was Brittany's blood that they found in the car. And so then we went back and started talking too about why she would say, like, why would they believe that they would keep just her alive? So, like we were saying, okay, so she says that the men said she was more fun to have sex with, and then you said,
why would they take her?
Take her with, right?
Yeah,
and
then leave her if she was that good to have sex with.
Right, and then my other thing is like, if they're these like horrible people, why would they leave anybody to tell the story?
Exactly. Because
you can learn a lot without seeing someone's face. You can have their voice, you can get their height, there's so much more that you can get. And especially if they have a record, like that's easy to kind of, I mean, people get found out all the time. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad. I mean, it took them 7 days, but at least they continued to kind of like harp on her a little bit,
seriously,
right?
Yeah.
So yes, it was Brittany's blood, and we will find out why. So we're going into the trial now. So like we said, she was murdered on the 11th. This happened on the 11th of 2011, and she was arrested the 18th. So all of these like really gory details have been out in the media for a week, of course, which is like, I get it, but it also sucks. They had dubbed it the Lulu Lemon Murder.
Oof.
You know, because there always has to be a name. Like they always have to be like the Candyman, like I talked about last time. Like it's always gotta be something. It can't just be like there was, because no one's gonna click on it, right? I mean, it's sad, but it's the truth of how we are as humans. So let's see here. Mary Ripple, which was the deputy chief medical examiner for the state of Maryland. So remember, we're in Maryland. We're in where?
Bethesda.
Thank you. We're in Bethesda, Maryland. So here we go. Told the jurors that Jana had no fewer than 331 injuries to her body.
Oh my God.
331. No fewer than.
That's insane.
Which makes me like super, super sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Talk about an overkill.
Yeah.
Ew, it just gives me chills. Like, I can't even, like, I can't imagine that much rage. And this is over, like, potentially getting fired. This isn't, like, someone hurting your baby or, like,
yeah,
hurting your family. Like, this is, like, not that that's okay either, but, like, this is over leggings.
Insane.
Ugh. So, and she said that this came from at least 5 different weapons. So here's another photo. I'm going to show Hope, and it will pop up for you guys. And I will go ahead and talk about all of them that they are. You can see kind of all the different things that were used. So,
like, how do you even grab that much stuff to hurt somebody either? That's
what I'm saying is, like, she had to have had an initial blow and had to go back and come back and go and get something else and come back. Like, that is, to me, like, beyond. I can't even comprehend this.
There's obviously something wrong with you.
It's just, ugh. So, it says here, at least 5 different weapons. Her head and face were badly bruised and covered in cuts. And the blow that had ultimately killed her was a stab wound on the back of her neck that severed her spinal cord. Now, I just want to make a little insert here because there is another story, and it sounds weird to say near and dear to my heart, but there's another story that I really want to cover at some point that I might even just sit down and talk about that, like, kills me. And I'm going to tell it to Hope off screen. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to hear about Ellen Ray Greenberg. This is an unsolved murder. They say that it was suicide, but in my opinion, it absolutely in no way, shape, or form could ever be suicide. And I want justice for this woman. So I think I really want to go over that story because I'm not kidding you when I say I think about it like weekly. It kills me. So sorry, just a little insert. So anyway, back to Hope here. So like they said, last one, right to the spinal cord, back of the neck right here. And what she says, this is a quote from Dr. Ripple, that area of your brain is pretty critical for you to be able to function. So what they hope is that this, unfortunately, it's sad to say, like, we hope that this was a pretty early on blow.
She wasn't
and it wasn't like later into that, because remember they said there was 10 minutes of grunting.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that she wasn't alive. It just could maybe mean that she couldn't feel anymore, and let's hope that was because she says she wouldn't have lived very long after that. She would not have been able to have any voluntary movement to defend herself. So to me, I hope that means, because I mean, let's think about a spinal cord injury. That, I mean, you lose movement in your legs and your back and your, anything. It's crazy. And then this is really sad too. Her injuries were so gruesome that her family was not able to have an open casket for her either.
Oh, gosh.
And her family was not obviously living there either, so I obviously could not even imagine, like, having that phone call. So after using items from the store's toolkit, we find out, which I already put the photo up, I'll put it up again. This is including a hammer, a knife, a merchandise peg, which I'm assuming is like a rod, or a rod, because that's what it looks like in the photo to me, a rope, and a box cutter.
Oh my.
Yeah. So Brittany left the store and moved Marie's car to a parking lot 3 blocks away. And now I'm just gonna give us a little palette cleanser. I'm gonna put up some cute photos really quick. I'm just gonna do a little palette cleanser and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we rinsed out Hope's color. We did a deep scalp cleanse. How's your scalp feel?
Amazing.
With my favorite product, everybody knows what it is. It's the Makeup a Pink Charcoal Reset. And then we went ahead and did her toner. I did the colors 9GI from Shades, a little bit of 9AA, and then just a dash of 8V on here to ash it out a little bit. And then we went ahead and put the Olaplex All-in-One mask on her for her deep conditioner. We've been talking a little bit about shedding, how your hair can go through a natural shed. So we're going to keep an eye on that with her. If you have questions about that, if you feel like you're going through a shed or you feel like it's something different, go ahead, let me know. Let your stylist know. I just want to set up something real quick before I get into blow drying her hair, and then we're going to finish it out while we style her. So, and like I told you before we left, you know, she was using all these 5 freaking things to go ahead and hurt this sweet gal, Jana. And then it says that she sat in the car for 90 minutes is what she says, trying to come up with a plan for these crimes. So she went ahead and did the crimes, then went back to the car and sat there for an hour and a half trying to figure out, how can I set this up? And then she went back into Lulu Lemon after that and put her plan into action. She took money from the register. She put, like, to stage the robbery aspect of it. She sliced open her own forehead. So if you think back to that photo, I can pop it up again. She, that's where her blood comes from when they find it later in Jana's car. And then cut a gash in Jana's pants to make it look like she was sexually assaulted. And then she went ahead and she put on a men's 14 size shoes, jumped in the middle of the pool of blood, and walked around in it. So again, I'm going to put up that crime scene photo, just warning, and look at that really quick. And you can see, I told Hope earlier to look at all those shoe prints. So those are all from Brittany, just setting up the
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it made it seem like if the male attackers had been inside. And then she tied up her own hands and feet with the zip ties that she just had, you know, laying around in the back like you would at any freaking store. I mean, this is like normal stuff, everyone.
Yeah.
Box cutter, like rope, like it's insane. And then she tied herself up and, you know, put herself in that position in the bathroom. Apparently people said that she had a habit of stealing and lying. Someone that was one of her old roommates said that she was a klepto, which if you don't know what that is, it's like a compulsive stealer.
Yeah.
And then someone had also said that she went to a salon, which I think this is kind of not funny, but like kind of fitting that this was in my research. Went to a salon, said she left her wallet, again, that damn wallet of hers, in her car, and then she just left, so she didn't pay for her hair. And again, that other girl that was her roommate and also played soccer with her said she was failing out and she needed money, and so she became a huge klepto. And also reportedly the Lulu Lemon managers were suspicious of her shoplifting, but they didn't have direct proof. So the fact that Jana caught her may have potentially pissed her off about this or got her nervous.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry Miss Hope. We're gonna sit and think about that for a minute, and we're gonna talk about the trial and how that went and the differences between first, second, and third degree murder, because that's really what kind of plays into her sentencing and how everything went about that way. So we're gonna get her blow dry and we'll finish her on up. Action. Okay, what do we think of Hope's hair?
I
So
love it.
pretty. What do you think?
I absolutely love it. You always kill it every time.
And it feels so good. Like,
Yeah, like I won't wash it for like 3 days. 4 maybe.
Yes. Oh, and Hope doesn't like a ton of like hairspray or anything. So my favorite thing to put in her is this, it's the Evo Shebanga Bang. It's like the cutest name ever. And it's a dry spray wax. So I do that before because you can still kind of play with it a little bit. And I'll probably just use it again after for her. So she can still keep her curls for a few days, but then it's not like a crazy, the hold is only at a 1, shine's about a 2. If we need to put a little bit around her face, then we will. But she doesn't like that crazy stickiness. So
Nope.
she's not an old lady hairstyle. Still drinking my coffee. It's been like 4 hours. Sorry, Hope. And I told myself I was going to keep this one like under 30 minutes. I have a feeling that's not going to happen. So
That's all right.
That's okay. yay, I love it. I want to get into all the nitty gritty.
All right.
So
let's hear some more.
So we are going to the trial now. This was a 6-day trial. So when you think about a murder trial, that's really not that long of a trial.
No, but
there weren't really any other suspects in this because they had pretty much decided that it was her. So again, I would say for only having one person, pretty standard. Mm-hmm. So this was in January of 2012. So this is the following year.
Wow.
So she's been in jail now since March of the previous year.
Oh, good. They kept her in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good.
So her defense team did not deny at all that she killed Jana. The issue is they wanted to argue and figure out, was this premeditated or not?
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw up a photo, and it explains the difference between the 3 types of murder. Like first degree, second degree, third degree. So I'm just going to read it over. I'll let you guys look at it. So first degree, if you don't know, is premeditated. So this is when you have planned something out, you're planning to act on murdering. Second degree murder is the intention, but you didn't plan it prior. So this is what they're kind of stuck between, first and second.
Yeah.
Third degree, however, is you did plan to like harm someone, but you did not intend for them to die. So like if you were planning on jumping somebody, anything like that. And then that third degree kind of gets a little iffy with manslaughter too. And that's a whole other thing. Usually people with third degree, they will get out on like a bond or parole because it was not meant to happen, but they still did it and they have to be in trouble for that. So anyway, her defense, like I said, they were very open about the fact, like, of course she did it, but they really wanted to make sure that she was not going to get...
So that means she admitted it to the team, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. So she admits it during the trial and everything, because she tells everybody, yeah. I put on the boots, I did the work, I gashed my own forehead open, etc., etc.
Wouldn't then, doing that, would they, have to, question her head, her insanity, too? So, that is a great question. I love that you said that. Thank you.
That's a really good question. So, usually, that's only if they decide, they want to go for the insanity plea.
Oh, okay.
I am going to find something to put up, because I don't know the exact, number, per se, but it's a very small percentage.
They said she's a klepto too. I'm sure that kind of kicks that one out of
right. But more times than not, if you go for the insanity plea, you're not going to be insane, because they rigorously test you. They have psychiatrists, psychologists, counselor. They have all these people testing you. And
I'm sure people studying you as you're talking on the stand and stuff.
1,000%. And even they would have been dealing, they would have come out with it when she first got put in jail, mm-hmm. and they would have worked on it this whole year. Right. And if we go back to Ted Bundy, he tries to go for not Ted Bundy, I'm sorry, Marilyn Manson. Charles Manson goes for the insanity plea. Yes. All these murderers do, and they play like they are, but these psychiatrists can see right through it. I mean, they look at it all day long. Oh, yeah. So, I love that you said that, and I will find, a really good percentage, because I'm actually really interested in that, too. Mm-hmm. But I will say, more times than not, if you go for the insanity plea, it never works out. Right. Unless you are truly insane. Now, if you're from Omaha, Nico Jenkins, and he went for the insanity plea, and he keeps going for it, he's not insane. They have declared him sane, mm-hmm. but his their work entirely, I don't know where he's getting all this damn money from and who his defense team is, because they've already said, hey, you're not, you are sane. So he's at the Lincoln Correctional facility, which is where they do have criminally insane people. Right. They have him there, but he's not. Because when I was in high school, I actually got to go visit that place, and I got to see where they hold him. So that's a different story for a different day. But I've loved this my whole life, so yeah, like I said, not a weirdo, just interested. Okay, so they successfully argued that the info about the stolen leggings was irrelevant, so they got that pushed out of there. So like the fact that the leggings were stolen,
like, it's not that big of a deal anymore.
It was irrelevant. Like, it couldn't even be in. So when it's like hearsay, which is what happens, irrelevant to the trial because it was hearsay. So Murray's attorneys were not able to tell the jurors the true motive of the killing. So when something becomes like hearsay and it gets out of a trial, like when you're a juror, you literally can't put that into your decision.
Wow, okay.
So like they could not put the fact that she stole the leggings into their decision whatsoever. Like they had to like out of sight, out of mind, which I have never been a juror, but like I literally don't know how I could do that. But it's part of your duty, and like you have to like only look at the facts that are not hearsay.
Right.
And I'll put up a definition of hearsay right here. So the defense attorney was Douglas Wood, and he stated that day there was nothing going on between Jana and Brittany. The absence of a motive is an indication that it is not premeditated. That is not a crime of motive. It was a crime of passion. But the jury didn't fall for the defense trickery. According to one juror, they said, I asked who thought it was first degree, and everybody's hand went up. So they didn't listen, really. I mean, here's the thing, is like it can't be.
She sat in her car for an hour.
Well, that was after she killed her. She sat in her car.
I thought that was before.
But she did sit in her car.
Before she called her
for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And think about
Sorry,
this.
I was confused.
So that's a really short time frame that we're talking about. So to have to like, I can't imagine being a juror on that and having to decide between first and second degree murder, because to me, 5 different ways, 331 gashes or like wounds, that to me sounds like a crime of passion. But when you sit and break it down by minute,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know what I would do either, but I'm not gonna lie, like I think that they made a good decision with first degree, because that does mean it was premeditated, and usually you have life without parole with that.
Right.
So I don't know. I personally, I don't know. What do you think? Like how would you feel in that moment being a juror? Like you can't have that in your mind, but you know.
I don't know. Because I'm more like, if that's the truth, that's what happened, and you need to pay for what you did. Like,
absolutely.
And that's just how I am too. Like, the truth's gonna get out. So whatever is true, I can't.
Truth shall set you free. Words hard.
Exactly. No, but yeah,
that's hard. So I'm gonna finish curling Hope's hair, and then we will get to the conviction, and I'll let you guys have the rest of your day and not stop thinking about sad things. So we got her all curled. It looks beautiful straight, but like, oh my gosh, I love it. I'm gonna brush her out in a second, but I just want to finish. I know, right? We're coming back to our freaking homecomings with our short Deb cheetah print dresses.
Oh my god.
Freaking gag. We're going back to 2011, you know?
I had this like metallic silver gray dress, and it was like all bunched up at like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Not good.
I had a black one that had like a purple bow, and it was like velvet cheetah print overlaying a purple.
Yes.
And then my first, this is really funny actually. Someone asked me to prom, and I bought a dress my sophomore year, and then he ended up ditching me inside. It was my freshman year. It was my freshman year, so I didn't need to go to prom anyway. But I bought a lime green, like fake satin dress that had like tight lime green, like.
Oh my god,
and it just had this like brooch
in the middle.
Yeah, it was so fugly. I will say I loved all my prom dresses, but
I only had 2, and I hated my junior year one. I saw a picture the other day. Well, I think I hated my hair the most.
I had 3 prom dresses. Which one was it? Your junior
I hated
one?
my hair. Yeah, it was like
your hair.
Pink and gold, like, I mean, it was like a low V, but it was straps with like, it like connected in the back, but had the hole too. So there was like a
cute.
triangle. But the way I had my hair, it was like the poof with curls, but then I had the bang.
And then you have like a hair piece in the back too.
No, I didn't go that all out, but I still was just like, why did I do that?
Oh my gosh, I know. I need to find. I'm gonna find a picture of Hope and I's dresses to show.
Yes, I'll send it to you.
Okay, so just last little bit. So we left off saying obviously she, everybody's hand went up when the juror asked, even though they had to keep that as hearsay. So I'm gonna read this verbatim, just like I did in the last one. Brittany Norwood was found guilty of first-degree murder.
Yeah.
And sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She was sent to the Maryland Correctional Institution for Women. Montgomery County State Attorney John McCarthy said of Brittany Norwood, her cunning and ability to lie is almost unparalleled.
Ugh.
So this was a very sick human being. Not to the insanity, but like some people are just good at that.
Yeah.
And then this says, obviously she'll most likely be behind bars the rest of her life. And again, this is called the Lulu Lemon Murder, which is
crazy,
super weird. But rest in peace to Jana, obviously.
Yes.
Jana Murray. Super sad. She was only 30 years old. Beautiful, beautiful woman. I'm going to post a picture of her up there again so you can see her. And this is Hope's finished look. What do we think?
I love it. Love it.
And how do we feel about the story? Any closing comments?
No, other than she can rot in prison. That's awful. And rest in peace, Jana.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you all again for my second Curlers and Cry. I was so excited. Thank you, Hope, for being here. I'm going to take some
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm going to take some pretty little videos and photos of her hair to post afterwards, and I will go ahead and put the formulas down in the description below, and stay tuned for next month. Thank you.
Yay.